But, it seems odd, for example, to angst as Microsoft about, oh my God, I'm losing $100 million revenue to Lovable, when wake up, I'm losing $900 million to Cursor in a product I already have been shipping for 5 freaking years in GitHub Copilot. In other words, if the thing you delivered first can't beat the newcomer, how are you going to beat the even more trivial newcomer where you're later than them? Right? So I think, brutally, I think...
Rory, is GitHub just a massive fuck up for Microsoft?
No,
if you're sitting in that... If you're sitting in that meeting, you're going, oh my God, we had the start, we had the runway, and we've let someone come up from behind and seemingly trounce us. Is that the mindset, you think?
I mean, they probably would say, oh, we have $500 million of revenue we're doing. They'd probably have some corporate story why they're better. But the truth is, yeah, it's a mistake, because whenever you start, I mean, the thing about in any market, when you're Microsoft, if you start with a monopoly and you fast forward 3 years and someone exists, by definition, you screwed up. Your job as a monopoly was don't lose the monopoly, right? They had massive market share with GitHub. And, they added the Copilot, when Nat was CEO, it was it was an excellent product. And, fast forward 4 or 5 years, they seem to have slipped up. I mean, you can't not say it's a mistake. I mean, because you shouldn't let that happen. So yes, it is, and that's my point. If you're chasing shiny object symptom on the next thing, which is now I have to do a Lovable thing, are you really putting enough effort into making sure that your Cursor competitor is as good as it should be? And, I think and this is kind of, and I'm not fully formed on this yet, so I'm kind of going out on a limb. For all the Microsoft is amazing in AI story, they're better than AWS of the 3 hyperscalers, but, they don't have their own model. The relationship with OpenAI is a bit tortured. Cursor's now 900 million, and their developers, which is their core kind of raison d'etre in a world where they're at 500 with a 5-year start. I don't think they're playing a perfect game. And I don't know if trying to do still more things is the way to win here versus actually doing some things well. And
that's the trap, right? Trying to do even more things usually doesn't work, no matter who you are, right? Startup or Microsoft, it doesn't usually work.
And Satya made the ever so funny comment that he wanted to make Google dance. Well, fast forward a year or two, they appear to be dancing pretty fucking well.
Microsoft own OpenAI in many respects. Amazon own Anthropic in many respects. And then Google own distribution and Gemini in a way that is very, very powerful and important. You have to buy one and you have to short one. Which one do you do?
Which of the 3 stocks are you talking about? Buy Google, short AWS, Amazon. They're just, and I'm not fully developed on that yet. I haven't spent time thinking, but Google has the advantage of underestimation, right? It could lose its search business. That knows it. There's a lot in this, because remember, I was just talking about the hyperscalers. If you looked at the 3 hyperscaler execution, then it's easy. Let's just do the hyperscaler first, because otherwise we don't have to think about retail and search, which are big things, I admit. On the 3 hyperscalers, 5 years ago, Amazon built the category and was the dominant one. Microsoft was number 2 because they could lever everyone into the Azure, so they were kind of limping onto the field with a bunch of relationships. And Google was nowhere to the point where there were credible stories about them getting out of cloud. Fast forward to this quarter, Google's nailed it. Great growth in Q2. As of the recording, we don't know where Amazon and Microsoft is, but funnily enough, by the time you produce this podcast, people will know, because I think they're reporting tomorrow. But my gut is, just looking at the trends, that Google is pulling ahead and is the smallest, but by far the fastest growing. Microsoft is roughly equal in scale to AWS, admitting that there's always some weird accounting of Azure, and has a slightly better growth rate.